I've been hearing these rumors for a while. Usyk versus Fury in Dubai. I've been hearing Joshua's going to fight Wilder. Joshua says, if you don't hear it from my mouth, then it's not happening. We've heard it from your mouth now. You've confirmed that you're fighting Wilder. So now the four of them could be doing the tango in the Middle East. Great. Or Saudi Arabia. Dubai, Saudi Arabia, wherever. That's not a problem because that's in December. What I have a problem with is this fight. Andy Ruiz against Tyson Fury, mooted for July. Even Tyson Fury against Zhang. I don't like the sound of that fight either. But anyway, let's talk about it more here. As you know, as I do on BWTN Sports. Again, don't go anywhere. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTN Sports Gaming. My camera has decided to work now, so that's why we're doing this show with my face on. Earlier on, I would have done a video, but I was doing a video, but the camera wasn't showing right. But we're here anyway. Hope that you all are well. Let's get into this one. Tyson Fury against Andy Ruiz. Don't like the sound of this fight at all. And there's a number of reasons. If you ask me now, what style do you think would be best to beat Tyson Fury? I would say a fighter, a boxer that can get on the inside of that jab, get on the inside and work his body and then come upstairs. That would be the best possible guy to fight and to beat Tyson Fury. One who could take a good punch, soak up punishment, slip inside, has got the boxing IQ to get inside and do damage and throw a combination with fast hands. That sounds like Andy Ruiz to me. Andy Ruiz, at his fighting weight, I remember warning Anthony Joshua fans about Andy Ruiz before the fight before Joshua fought Andy Ruiz. I remember the day of the fight. And because Andy was in camp with Abel Sanchez. I remember at the time. And he left Abel Sanchez's camp. I said, Abel, where's Andy? He says, Andy's gone off. He's got some issues and he was getting fat shamed. And he was fed up of the press and the media jumping on about his weight. And he said, you know, every time Andy was a fight, he would talk about his weight. Not about his boxing ability, but his weight. And he went into huge depression and he decided to work with his dad in a construction site. Then the opportunity came up to fight Anthony Joshua. And I warned boxing fans there. This guy, Andy Ruiz, has got fast hands. He can get on the inside. Let his combinations go. He can punch. And the guy is dangerous. This guy is a dangerous contender. This guy, if he's going to beat Anthony Joshua, or beat him when Anthony Joshua is landing a combination on the attack, he'll throw the left hook over the top. And lo and behold, he throws the left hook and takes the whole heavyweight division by storm. Not by my storm, but we knew it was coming. This fight here, don't for one, see, the Andy Ruiz that fought Anthony Joshua in the rematch, that Andy Ruiz, like I said to people before, I don't know who spoke to Andy Ruiz. I don't know what was said to him, but I know for sure that when I met the people from DAZN, and I was on that train leaving, I was on the way back home to Worthing, and the guy on the train got off at Haywards Heath. And he said to me in conversation for the rematch for Andy Ruiz, don't you worry, we're getting those belts back. And the way he said that, like I said, I thought it went through me, and it just went through me like, oh, did not sound like, you know, and at that point, I was wondering how are they so sure? How are they so sure? But then I clicked, you know, you don't build a stadium for Andy Ruiz, but you'd build the same for Anthony Joshua, you know, because he was that marketable star that was, you know, gonna regain the championship of the world. So he become a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world in the Middle East. And lo and behold, he did that with the Andy Ruiz, who was tremendously out of shape. Now we have Tyson Fury. And don't for 1 second compare Andy Ruiz to Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora has never looked good against tall boxers. Ruiz, on the contrary, prefers taller fighters. He prefers guys that are taller, shooting down at him. It's easier for him. He struggled with Arreola, but then Arreola is around the same height. And again, Ruiz is not that much taller. This guy, in guys like big guys, tall guys like Joshua and Wilder and Fury. Not so much Wilder, because Wilder's got that speed. But again, if Ruiz gets inside on Wilder, it's a nightmare as well. It's just that people believe that if Wilder catches him with that right hand early, it's good night Ruiz. And I would agree with him on that. But if Ruiz gets inside, it's good night Wilder. Up close, it's Ruiz's fight. And this is the problem. With a guy like Ruiz, if he comes in fighting weight, what I mean by fighting weight, he comes in a weight that he's comfortable at, you know, a weight that he's optimum weight. He can throw punches, feel good, absorb punishment, and come forward. That suits his style. And he's built like a tank, and he can get inside under Fury's punches. If he can get under Fury's punches, not get hit with the uppercut, because Fury's got a decent uppercut. We saw that with Dillian White, but everyone seems to hit Dillian White with the uppercut. If he can get inside, then it's Christmas come early for Andy Ruiz. But as long as Fury keeps him outside, the educated jab, pings him with the right hand, hits him with the uppercut, ties him, spins him round, that's Fury's fight at that distance. Come closer, it's Ruiz's fight. And the closer Ruiz gets, the closer that WBC title goes towards Andy Ruiz. It's that dangerous a fight. Andy Ruiz could beat any of the top heavyweights because he's not inexperienced. This guy is experienced. He's durable. He's got fast hands. He can punch, and he's got good stamina. Dangerous. This is not a preparation fight. This is not Derek Chisora's been beaten about 15 times and has got a degree in losing. It's not Derek Chisora. This isn't Dillian White. This isn't not even so much Deontay Wilder, because with Wilder, you know, the boxing fundamentals are not there, but with him, his punching power is there. I believe that Malik Scott is adding and making his jab better, and I believe he's learning better boxing fundamentals as he's getting older, and it makes Wilder more dangerous. However, I don't think even Wilder himself understands what is his optimum weight, and that's key. A guy that old that doesn't know his optimum weight, because he fought Fury at one weight. I thought when he put a bit more weight on, the idea was if he put a bit more weight on, he hit Fury with a bit more weight, he'd keep him down this time. Well, Fury got up. So that didn't work out, and it was more heavier. So, you know, he was blowing at his ass from round 2. Andy Ruiz is a dangerous fight. A fight that Fury should not be taken if he wants to be undisputed champion against Usyk in December. It's just too much of a risk. It's too close. If the undisputed fight is signed for December, if the fight is going to go ahead, it's a dangerous fight. Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, Dillian White versus Drew Miller on the same card would be awesome. It would be absolutely awesome. If AJ can outbox, what will Fury do? See, don't use that comparison. That comparison is like AJ outboxed a overweight, out of shape Ruiz. He couldn't knock him out. He couldn't knock him down. And he was fighting. And when he clinched Ruiz, he was holding him for dear life. So don't tell me about AJ outboxing Ruiz. I just gave the example of that. You're just not listening. You can't use the AJ example when he boxed Ruiz and rematch. I just gave you a story behind that. So you're not listening. So moving on. That's a poor example. You have to look at Andy Ruiz at his best, not his worst. And there's no way Andy Ruiz is going to come in against Tyson Fury in that level of shape again. He's not out of shape. You don't know Andy Ruiz. You don't know Andy Ruiz. You don't understand Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, I want you to go back. If you know your boxing, go back. There's been never a world heavyweight champion built like Anthony Joshua. At lasted. Look at the heavyweights, talk about out of shape. So who was what's his name? Guys like Tony Tubbs, Mike Dokes. Are you gonna say they weren't good fighters? Mike Dokes, Tony Tubbs. Those guys were big guys. But they weren't, you wouldn't call them body beautiful. You wouldn't call them body beautiful, but they're the type of guys that became world heavyweight champions. They're good fighters, damn good fighters, and would be excellent fighters in this era. So I don't agree with you, mate. I don't agree with you. Inactivity. Well, what was Ruiz's last fight? He fought what's his name? Luis Ortiz. Fought Luis Ortiz, his last fight. He goes, bro, after the performance, Ruiz out and out sold AJ the belts. I don't want to. Yeah, well, yeah. I explained that, but that's a different situation. I don't believe Andy would do that against himself. I don't think he would. I think he's learned from the AJ situation. I don't think he'd do that again. I don't think he'd put himself for that tournament again. I think Andy is a hungry fighter, and I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to be training Andy. I wouldn't want to be on the night Andy Ruiz fights Tyson Fury to be going with the mindset that he's going to come at like he did against Joshua, the second fight. I would want to be looking at Andy Ruiz the first fight. That's the Andy Ruiz you need to look at. The best. When you're preparing for a fighter, you don't prepare for the worst of him. You prepare for the best of him. I've never heard any fighter. I've never heard any team. I've never heard any competitive sports person or team looking to take somebody on that is the worst of that person. That's absolute nonsense. So I'm looking at the best version of Andy Ruiz. He's not over the hill and he's not past it. And I don't think you can be highly motivated when you're fighting someone or Luis Ortiz. But Tyson Fury for the heavyweight championship, well, guys like Andy Ruiz, guys like that guy there, they get themselves up for fights like that. And they're the kind of guys that cause the upsets. Guys like that. Andy Ruiz, the history of heavyweight boxing. Guys like Andy Ruiz come in. And that's what upset Joshua the first time around. The funny thing is, Andy Ruiz, Usyk, and the smallish fighters for the era pose more of a problem for Fury than the taller, lankier guys Fury knows he can target. Yes. Somebody talking sense in the room, finally. Tyson Fury historically have had problems with guys 6'2" and under. That's why he turned southpaw on Chisora. In the rematch against Chisora, Chisora was beaten by 10 times since he fought Chisora the second time. So we all know it was a hiding to nothing with Chisora. But Ruiz is different because Ruiz is 10 times better than Chisora and a former world heavyweight champion. And, great amateur experience. He's a world-class pro, Andy Ruiz. There's no warm-up about Andy Ruiz. There's no, this is a walk in the park, Andy Ruiz. And anybody who thinks Andy Ruiz is a walk in the park don't know boxing. This guy's dangerous. Guy is dangerous. Good evening, Ingram. Great to see you giving us the knowledge, sir. He's dangerous. Now, can Fury nullify what Ruiz does? Absolutely. If he keeps him at the end of the jab, if he ties him up, if he makes it ugly, yes. But what happens if you can't keep him on the jab? What happens if Ruiz slips inside? And unlike Derek Chisora, knows what to do when he gets on the inside. He's got faster hands than Derek Chisora. Puts punches better than the Derek Chisora. Dangerous fight. Joyce needs to use cross-arm guard to protect himself. I said that. that, you know, people in here, oh, Joyce is going to walk through Zhang. Yeah, we all saw how that worked out. Fight with your face, you know what happens. Ruiz is smaller, quicker for his size, and puts together a good combination and can punch between shots, just as AJ. I hope he comes in the same size he was in the first AJ fight. Better punch resistance. Listen to some boxing knowledge right there. Man, he's talking sense. If he comes in the sort of shape he was against AJ the first fight, and with the mentality he had for AJ the first fight, I know people underestimate him because of the second fight and subsequent fights. This guy is dangerous. He is dangerous. Ingram, I'm not sure it happens, Ingram. Ruiz got some serious legal issues going on. Yeah, he has. I've heard that. But I've heard other rumors that there's legal issues have been dropped. So I don't know what to think about Ruiz. But that's exactly the time to fight Ruiz, when he's got the legal issues on. Fight him then, because he ain't got time to train. That's a good time to fight Ruiz. But just be sure that when you're fighting him, he really has had them legal issues, and he really hasn't had time to train, because if he's had time to train for 5-6 rounds, he's a problem. When I saw Ruiz punching between AJ's punches, pause, slip that right hand, I thought, oh, sugar, this won't go well. I said it. I said the problem with AJ would start when he tried to put pressure on Ruiz. If AJ boxes, AJ is okay if he boxes. All his trouble starts is when he tries to brawl, because he leaves himself open. He's not defensively responsible. He's a decent boxer if he doesn't engage. When AJ engaged, that's where he gets caught. That's where he gets tagged. That's where he gets hurt. And that's where he got undone by Ruiz. Derek Shaw needs to retire from boxing forever. Yeah, I'd agree. The only person Ruiz is fighting at the time is his wife. You know, I have a thought about what's going on in the heavyweight division. Have you noticed there's all sorts of issues going in the heavyweight division? Everyone's got a problem at the moment. Wilder got arrested. Ruiz has got issues. Joyce was meant to fight for the heavyweight championship world. Got to fight Zhang in a fight. I don't think he was prepared to fight a southpaw. It was a wrong matchup for him. So who's left? Usyk didn't want to fight Fury because Fury's playing games. So who's left? Some funny things happen in the heavyweight division. Funny things. Joyce is out of the way. Ruiz will give Fury problems. Absolutely. Anybody thinks that Tyson Fury is just going to go out there, bam, bam, and then the fight is mad. Mad. Ruiz, in all honesty, should give Fury more problems than Wilder. Why? Because Fury doesn't like guys that are shorter than him. 1, doesn't like punching down. 2, there's less opportunities for Fury to land than big shots, like the way Wilder was quite easy. Fury was able to walk Wilder back and land and use all that weight on him. Different Ruiz. Can't do that against Ruiz. You'll walk onto something. No one would be surprised if Ruiz reopened that cut on Fury that Warren did, as well as flash knockdown. As you would say, bruv, you don't play boxing. Yeah, we do need a lot more heavyweight fights in boxing. I love heavyweight fights. I agree with you. And more often. Zhang was punching Joyce, moving in and out. Every time Joyce planted his feet, Zhang through, and then moved out of position. Same thing Buster did to Tyson. Well, I told you it was coming. I told you it was coming. I said the minute that fight was signed, I had a bad feeling, real bad feeling. And I don't feel that much more confident with Ruiz and Fury. Should I say an in-shape Ruiz? Well, I wouldn't say an in-shape Ruiz. I would say a comfortable Ruiz. He in shape. I mean, he was in shape to fight Joshua the second fight. He did the 12 rounds. He took some humongous shots from Joshua in the rematch. And he didn't tire. There's in shape and there's in fighting shape. So you can be in fighting shape. You can be 240 pounds, 245 pounds in great fighting shape. It's just in shape and in fighting shape. So I believe Ruiz was in shape when he fought Joshua the second time. But was he in fighting shape, i.e. able to get into position to cause damage? No, he wasn't. And there's a difference. Who wins, Zhang or Ruiz? Ruiz throws fast combinations. I don't think he's going to be there in the same way as Joyce is. Joyce is just a statue in that sense. And he's got faster hands than Zhang. I think he could overwhelm Zhang without punch output. Who wins, Zhang or Ruiz? It's a good fight. But like Joyce made Zhang look like Joe Kazaki, the heavyweight Joe Kazaki. I mean, at the end of the day, to be honest with you, Joyce was poor, but we knew Joyce always fought with his face. It's just that he had a face and he gave Zhang a target. So that fight was made for Zhang. That fight was poor matchmaking by his manager. I don't want Ruiz going in there emancipated, but not in fighting shape. If he's a bit tubby, but in fighting shape and good endurance, throw him in. Too skinny for Ariolo fight. There you go. Zhang was having fun beating up Joyce, smiling, laughing. Yeah, of course. Of course, because he didn't have a clue what he was doing. Joyce wasn't prepared for Zhang. That's what it is. He thought he could just walk forward, march Zhang down and throw punches. Somebody said, oh, well, if Joyce put more weight on, he'd have won that fight. If Joyce put more weight on, he would have got stopped. Do you know why? Because more weight don't make you faster. More weight makes you slower. So if you're slower, you'll take more impact to the punch. That means you're going to get hit flush, harder. No, I don't agree. But yeah, it was having fun in there. All them people that said, oh yeah, Joyce is going to walk through Zhang. I'm like, really? Really? You don't walk through a guy that hits as hard as Zhang with that left hand. You don't. Not if you're Joyce. You don't. You'll walk onto, but you won't walk through. And that's what happened. New trainer for Joyce, I see it. Well, you should go and see Bashir. Maybe Bashir can help him. Joyce had no pop on his shots. It was bizarre. I know he's slow, but he looked like he aged overnight. Well, it's not he aged overnight. Consider this. He had a hard fight against Joseph Parker. Can't keep taking shots like that over and over again. Especially at his age. Ruiz is a very dangerous fight for Tyson Fury. Believe it. Believe it. So if they sign that fight, question number one I'm asking is Ruiz able to train? And second question is, when I mean, is he able to train? Is he able to train consistently without legal problems? Because if he's signed to sign a fight to fight Tyson Fury, they're just signing to pay off his legal fees. That's what I'd be thinking. Guys' mistakes, not having one punch power without having snap on punches. Anyone ever just walk through Mayweather? No. Still sting on those punches. Absolutely. The only people that people walk down are guys who just generally cannot punch. You know, but Zhang is not one of them guys. That's why I find it incredulous. These people who actually come on my channel and say, yeah, Joyce is going to walk down Zhang. Like, I know he's got a good chin, and I know he takes a good shot, but this is Zhang. This is a 19-stone man who can punch. And you're going to say Joyce is going to walk him down? No. And Joyce has got no defense? No. And Joyce walks like he's molasses? No. Joyce is good against certain types of fighters, not Zhang. I think that Fury doesn't want to fight Ruiz or Usyk because he's just happy fighting the Wilder type guys 100 times over. If you're the best, we'll fight all comers. Well, that fight with Wilder, that fight, he almost came unstuck with Wilder in that fight. They all fell for the hype. They did. My man England, blessings, bro. My boy Wilder acted like McBain from The Simpsons. LOL. Horrible watching JJ keep eating shots like that. Well, it's not horrible. It's what it is. I mean, in the Parker fight, you were like, oh, that was a great performance by Joyce. But I told people it would walk through Joseph Parker because Joseph Parker's there to walk through. Joseph Parker stood in front of his best shots, but I don't think Joseph Parker under Andy Lee with Tyson Fury is a good setup. I think Andy Lee's a good trainer. I think Joseph Parker's a good fighter, but Joseph Parker under the influence with Tyson Fury, no, I don't think that works. For some reason, I just don't think that helps Parker. The era is nearly done. I'll be glad when the likes of Fury and Wilder, AJ Spence, Crawford, etc. retire and free up the division. Interesting. Absolutely. But I mean, Wilder style, taller guys that aren't technically gifted, not a lot of combinations and not a lot of head movement. Yeah. Those guys are not technically gifted. So you're talking about White, Chisora, what's his name? All them guys. See, even Wilder, he's not technically gifted, but he's got a great right hand. Put a jab on that. Put a really good jab on that. And then you've got a jab where to place the right hand. It becomes a much more dangerous fighter. She did a jab and a right hand, keep the punches straight. That's it. Bacola versus White. I don't want to see that. White ducking. Well, I would as well. What is Bacola? You beat Bacola, well, then Michael Hunter's already beat him. And if Bacola gets beat by White, then Bacola's a hype job. I mean, no, if White beats Bacola, then Michael Hunter beat him. And if Bacola beats White, well, White's been knocked out by several fighters already, so I don't see that as White ducking. Who wins, Joseph Parker, Charles Martin? I'd give Charles Martin that fight, to be honest. The moment Fury has to fight Ruiz, Jared Anderson, or Usyk, all something there are these legal challenges to overcome. Sheesh. That's what I'm saying about the conspiracy. Dan Dubois is not seasoned enough to fight Alexander Usyk. Seasoned enough, good enough. No amount of seasoning is going to help Daniel Dubois. No amount of seasoning. Because it's when punches are being exchanged with Dubois. It's when he starts getting hit back. That's the problem. He's all right. He's an on-top fighter, Dubois. I just think he's one of these guys on top fighter like a bully. But when you start hitting him back, it's another story. I don't think he's the same fighter since he's been beat by Joyce, and I don't think he's recovered. And if that Larea fight is anything to go by, you better stay well away from Usyk. Dubois needs to give Larea his rematch. For what? Larea's only going to double over again. Larea, as far as I'm concerned, through the fight. You tell me you're in a position, you dropped a guy, you've hurt him, you've got the power to stop him, and you stop throwing punches. Through the fight, in my opinion. Through the fight. Daniel Dubois, I think, has reached his potential in his finish article. Caroline, however, is still developing well as a personal brother in legacy and technical gifts. Agreed. So that's it. Those are my thoughts there on this fight. Ruiz versus Tyson Fury. Dangerous fight. Very, very dangerous. Leroy gave it away. I agree. Yeah, he threw the fight away. Right. When I come back, I've got some more fights to talk about. So I'm going to try and do one more show tonight. Guys, thanks as always. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments. Hey, do me a favor. Start sharing these videos as well. I really appreciate it. It's not easy doing these videos all the time, but I really appreciate the love. Take care. I'll see you in the next video.